and welcome to my booktube channel. My name is Sarah and today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review of Slasher Girls and Monster Boys by April Genevieve Tucholke. This is an anthology of 14 short stories, all selected by April Genevieve Tucholke. They're all along the lines of horror / psychological thriller. I really liked this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars total, although you can't really judge it as a whole as well because it's broken up into 14 different short stories. Today I'm going to be talking about each one in turn, talking about what I liked about it, what I didn't, without giving too much of the plot away because they are short and I don't want to spoil anybody. The first short story is The Birds of Azalea Street by Nova Ren Suma. This is one of my favorite authors in the whole world. She is the author of The Walls Around Us and Imaginary Girls, and I cannot even describe to you how much I love her. She is amazing and she writes these really feverish, emotional, sort of psychological stories, and I really enjoyed this one as well. Her writing style is amazing and this story was intense, as all of her stories always are. I loved it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next story is In the Forest Dark and Deep by Carrie Ryan, who is also the author of the Forest of Hands and Teeth series, as well as Daughter of Deep Silence. I really like what Carrie Ryan does with her stories because she likes to take ordinary people and put them in situations that make them do things that ordinarily they would not. With her series about zombies, she forces them to recognize the fact that they have the potential to become as terrible as the zombies are. As humans, we have that darkness inside of us, and she really exposes that and makes us think about what it would be like if we were put in such a situation. What if your friend was turned into a zombie, etc. And she does the same sort of thing in this short story. There are no zombies in it per se. It's like an Alice in Wonderland-esque story. The main character is not innocent. I really like it when the main characters are a bit more gritty and a bit more morally complicated, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars all the way. The next story in this anthology is Emmeline by Kat Winters. Kat Winters is the author of In the Shadow of Blackbirds, as well as several other books which I haven't read, but I really enjoyed In the Shadow of Blackbirds. It's like a historical fiction. This story was good. I didn't love it. I can't really say much about this story without giving away spoilers, actually. It's set during a war. I thought it was good, but I didn't love it. It didn't really stand out to me, so I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The fourth story in this anthology is Verse, Chorus, Verse by Leigh Bardugo. Leigh Bardugo is the author of the Grisha trilogy as well as Six of Crows, which was recently released. I love her writing style. I think it's vastly improved over the last few years. This one was one of my favorites for sure because it was just fantastic. It was eerie and creepy. It follows this celebrity that goes to a rehabilitation center and creepy things start to happen. I loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The fifth story is Hide and Seek by Megan Shepherd. Megan Shepherd is the author of the Madman's Daughter trilogy. I really enjoyed the Madman's Daughter trilogy. I thought it was fantastic and eerie, and it's like historical fiction, a sort of retelling of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, as well as Frankenstein and a few others. I really liked this story because it follows a girl who is basically forced to play hide and seek with death in order to stay alive. I thought it was a really unique concept and I really liked it. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. The next story is The Dark, Scary Parts and All by Danielle Page. Danielle Page is the author of the Dorothy Must Die series, which I haven't read yet, but I've heard is really good, and I'm looking forward to picking that up sometime in the new year. I really liked this story. It was sort of a retelling of the Persephone and Hades story, which I absolutely love. I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars, mostly because I wasn't a huge fan of the writing style. The next story is The Flicker, the Fingers, the Beat, the Sigh by April Genevieve Tucholke. April Genevieve Tucholke is one of those authors that I absolutely adore. She is an amazing author, an amazing person. I have all of her books, and actually most of them are signed. She's so nice. Her writing style is so unique, and I think it's really refreshing in YA. especially the kind of books that she writes, these more psychological sort of romance, I would say. As soon as I heard that she was coming out with an anthology, I was like, sign me up. I want to read it. I don't care what it's about. I don't care. I just need it in my life. And now it is here, and it was amazing. And I really loved her story in it. It was exactly what I expected from her. They always have these deeper, darker undertones to them, and I love it. 4 out of 5 stars. The next book is Fat Girl with a Knife by Jonathan Mayberry. I did not love this one. It was about zombies and this girl who gets basically trapped in her school during the zombie apocalypse. I thought it was okay. I wasn't a huge fan of it, really. There wasn't much of a plot to it, and it just didn't seem like it was going anywhere, and I only gave it 2 out of 5 stars. The next story in this anthology is Sleepless by Jay Kristoff. Jay Kristoff is also the author of the recently released Illuminae along with Amy Kaufman. I have not read any of his books, but I've heard really great things. I gave his story 5 out of 5 stars. However, if I could, I would have given it 1,000 out of 5 stars. It was my favorite out of the entire anthology, which is really saying something because some of my favorite authors are in it, and I've never read anything by Jay Kristoff, but I absolutely loved this short story. It was fan-freaking-tastic. I won't tell you anything about it because I think it's better that way. I loved it. I was completely blown away. I finished the story and I just sat there on my couch for like 10 minutes thinking about it, and I'm still thinking about it to this day. The next story is titled M by Stephen Bachman. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. I really liked this one. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It's told from the perspective of a blind girl, and I would say it leans more on the side of a mystery. Because it's told from the point of view of a blind person, there's always this confusion. You know, she doesn't know what's happening and nobody really knows what's happening. So I thought that was really interesting and I liked it. The next story is The Girl Without a Face by Marie Lu. Marie Lu is the author of so many things. She wrote The Young Elites, the Legend trilogy. I haven't read any of them and I feel really guilty about that. But I really liked this story. I think it was a good place for me to start. Maybe I'll pick up some of her other books now that I've gotten a feel for her writing. One of the things I love about anthologies is you get like little slivers of their writing style, and it's like a sampler of what you can expect from them and their other books. I thought The Girl Without a Face was really cool. I haven't read anything like it. I didn't love it. I wasn't blown away by it, but I really did enjoy it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The next one is The Girl Who Dreamed of Snow by McCormick Templeman. I haven't read anything by this author before, but I was really intrigued by this one. It was the most fantasy-oriented of all the stories. I'm not sure if it's fantasy per se, but it definitely reminded me more of the fantasy genre. I was really excited because none of the other stories really have that element. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. The next story is Stitches by A.G. Howard. A.G. Howard is the author of the Splinter trilogy, which I really enjoyed. I was really excited when I saw that she was a part of this anthology. I gave her story 5 out of 5 stars. It was fantastic. It's basically about a girl who has to butcher people and like gets paid for it. There's like a sort of love interest with her and the guy that collects the body parts. It's a weird concept, but it really worked and it was really, really grody and creepy. I loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. The 14th and final story in this anthology is On the I-5 by Kendare Blake. I haven't read anything by her, but I've heard she's really good. She wrote Anna Dressed in Blood. I thought her story was okay. I didn't love it. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. I would have rather the anthology ended on Stitches, the one before, because I loved that one and I thought it would have been a really creepy way to end it. I didn't adore this one. I thought it was interesting, but on the other hand, it had a very powerful, strong main character, which I really enjoy. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Overall, I gave Slasher Girls and Monster Boys a 4 out of 5 stars. There were some stories that I didn't love, but there were also a lot of them that I simply adored. I highly suggest you pick this one up if it piques your interest. If you haven't read any books by any of these authors, I highly suggest you do. They're all amazing and very, very talented. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye!